Great. Well, welcome to the Success Labs. I am Sri Chilapa. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Engagedly, and this is my first time doing the Success Lab. So I'm not the best speaker, but I'll try to make sure that the people who are actually doing the work here with our panelists actually do the most of the talking. Um, I I am, however, a huge fan of rewards and recognition. We use it quite uh, effectively in our organization. And I was pleased to know that a lot of the uh, clients that we have use it as well. So with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists real quick. So that's me here, Nicolette, Iris, Oksana. If you can go and just do a quick 1 minute introduction about yourself, your role, anything interesting you want to add, that'll be helpful for people to make, some fun fact as well. Thank you.
I get started out. Hi, everybody. My name is Nicolette Davino. I am the HR generalist at Simon Quick Advisors. We're a boutique RIA headquartered in Morristown, New Jersey. My role is truly all encompassing. I'm involved in everything from benefits and hiring to payroll and employee experience. I've been in HR a little over 6 years. I'm really passionate about creating an environment where employees feel valued, engaged, and I'm excited to be here and share more about our rewards program.
Okay. Oksana, you want to go next?
I can go next. Hi, my name is Oksana Waters. I am the Senior Manager of Talent Management at HIMSS, which is a nonprofit professional association. We're a global advisor and leader that's dedicated to transforming the global health ecosystem through information and technology. HIMSS stands for Healthcare Information Management System Society. So therefore the focus on healthcare information and technology. I've been here at HIMSS for less than a year, so I think it's about 8 months. I started in June of last year, so relatively new to this role and the organization. New nonprofit and healthcare is also new for me, but prior to that, I have over 20 years of HR generalist experience in a variety of different industries, large and small. And I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you being invited to participate on the panel.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Iris Johnson. I'm based in Austin, Texas here. I'm with LightEdge. We are a data center and cloud colocation company. We have facilities all over the United States. I've been here for about 6 years now, a little bit over 6 years now. And hi, Gabby, yay. And yeah, I implemented the system. We moved from something else into the system. And so I'm excited to talk about that. And just over time, there's been a lot of system changes and things, and I am always seeking out advice for stuff like this. And so I'm excited to be able to share about it, answer questions, and have a discussion about it. So thank you guys for having me.
Well, we'll go into the Q&A session now. So let's just get going on this panel discussion. I'll start with you first, actually, Iris. Why don't you talk about really what motivated you and the organization to really implement a rewards and recognition program in the first place?
Yeah, so I think like a lot of folks, our company went from being fully in person everywhere to remote and then more of a hybrid situation. And so I think we're constantly looking for ways to engage people, recognize them, make sure that we're like community building, fostering an atmosphere for that. And we really have a culture of celebrating people. And when it moved from being able to do that so easily in person to needing to be doing it digitally, we really tapped into systems like this. And so, like I mentioned, we were on a system prior that had went through several different things. It was like you earned it, then Kazoo, then Work Tango, and then we ended up just moving into a completely different system. And because we wanted something that would be more cohesive for like a holistic perspective with performance reviews, training, everything under one roof. And so that's why we moved to Engagedly. But for the rewards and recognition, it really had to do with like creating a culture of rewards and recognition and making sure we're providing an atmosphere where celebration can happen, like to the people from leadership, but also amongst each other and their peers.
So what were the original goal of this initiative? Like, how would you know this initiative was successful? Like, what were you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so we we every time we onboard a new hire, we like give them points, we give them rewards points, and give them a shout out and explain to them like, this is an opportunity for you to give kudos, shout outs, rewards, and recognition to your peers, to your manager, to call people out and really encourage that and make a point that like this is a part of our culture. And so we're trying to level set from the very beginning, like, we want you to participate in this. This is a benefit to you and your team. And so for us, you know, we don't have a clear goal line that it's successful other than just seeing that it's being actively used. I think that we're always excited about that, just to see the communication happening, to see the celebrations happening, for it to be utilized. Of course, I think we're always looking for things we can do to scale that up to, you know, interest people that don't often use it. Some teams are really good about using it more than others. So we're always looking for ways to kind of incentivize that. But for us, just to see the fact that it's being utilized and we can, you know, we can look at the data on that, that's a win for us.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric. So Nicolette, you have a slightly different use case, right? You guys actually use it to drive certain required activities in your organization. Without stealing your thunder, can you talk a little bit more about talk about your organization, so that give it some context as well, and then how this has helped you drive some of those must-do activities that typically would be a lot more painful to do without a points-based approach, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're in the financial space. So wealth management, and I would say we have a lot of kind of like regulations around like cybersecurity. We have also just like a high touch client experience that we really just want to encourage that positive behavior. So when we looked at the rewards and recognition program, we thought about it as like a psychological standpoint. And we know like from like Maslow and other behavioral theorists that show positive reinforcement really forces that positive behavior and reinforcing the culture behaviors we wanted. So things like our micro learnings, we do these tech micro learnings each month so that people can know what to look out for when some of these phishing attempts come through. Before we were getting maybe not so much participation in those learnings, and those clicks were still happening. And obviously we really wanted people to watch those trainings, and we wanted them to think about how this phishing idea is like a top priority for us, and making sure that our data is secure, our clients' information is secure. So when we started to implement this reward, and it's a small reward, we only do 5 points, but it's 5 points that they're guaranteed to take a 4-minute video each month, watch that video, and gain that valuable information that they need when those emails are coming through. And now we're seeing a 90% completion rate, and we've gone on much longer streaks of non-clicks. We actually just celebrated, like it was like a 60-day non-click spree, which is fantastic. So I think it's just like the idea of people being able to accumulate those rewards and get engaged, and just overall improving our security as we're kind of doing that. We have other rewards that we give as well, but like I think that's one of our biggest successes that we've really saw, was like people actually completing those things that we want them to complete. But yeah, a little different, but that's how we're kind of using it as well.
Excellent. And then Oksana, you have a slightly different use case from the other two as well, right? So do you want to talk a little bit more about how you guys implemented at HIMSS?
So I can't speak to the implementation process since I wasn't here. As I mentioned, I've been here for about 8 months, but the way that we utilize the system is to promote and encourage recognition from managers to their teams and to others, but also across the organization. So we do have the system configured to utilize and sort of use the gamification to award points for when people are engaging on the praise wall and sharing praise publicly, kind of with team members and others in the organization. Managers are also awarded 3,000 points annually to be able to sort of dole out however they see fit to their team members or others in the organization. Additionally, we do have a kind of a culture team, so a team of employees that's focused on sort of grassroots efforts to support and promote our values. And each of them on the team may not be managers, but we award them 3,000 Engagely points as well, so that they can sort of use those to reinforce kind of where they see people sort of supporting our values in their work. And so we've been utilizing and sort of relying on the system to promote this culture of recognition. And what I will add to that, in preparation for today, I did take a look to see, we recently completed our annual employee engagement survey. And so I took a look at this year's survey results as compared to the last several, and honed in for this conversation specifically on the question that asks about recognition. And we have seen an increase kind of year over year in several points on our question around recognition.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is a great result.
Yeah, yeah. Now, can you talk a little bit about, you said you give points, but what do these points actually mean? Do they get redeemed?
The points can be redeemed for gift cards. So through Tango. So we haven't yet leveraged or utilized any sort of customized rewards that employees can redeem the points for. But our like 100 points, I think for us is $10. And so employees, I just had an employee yesterday ask about redeeming. She had several hundreds of dollars worth of points accumulated kind of over time, and redeemed for herself hundreds of dollars worth of Apple gift cards. So I don't know what she's buying with that, but I sent her a note of congratulations. I was like, good for you. So the points can convert to gift cards that they can redeem.
Okay. And then Iris, Nicolette, either one of you, how do you guys use the points in your organization?
Yeah.
Similar.
Go ahead. You go first, Iris.
We do a conversion of 1 point is 1 penny. And so everybody gets 5,000 points per quarter or $50 to spend. So that's kind of our conversion rate. And we have it auto loaded where everyone is just auto assigned $50 a quarter to be able to use. And then the same thing for Tango gift cards in the store. We do also utilize some customer rewards. We allow them to shop on we have like a kind of a company store built out with like our company swag, like light edge shirts and koozies and hats and stuff like that. And so we let them cash in their points to spend it on store cred if they want to do that as well. So we have that baked into our system too.
Nice. Yeah, similar to Iris for us. Ours is a conversion of 50 cents to a point, but those points could be redeemed. We have also a swag site that they could redeem. I think there's like 30 plus items on there. Different denomination of gift cards towards that site, and then we also have our like biggest reward they could redeem is an extra PTO day because everybody loves time off. And then the one right below that, we actually in our industry, Summer Fridays is something that kind of happens across the board. So what that looks like, you get to leave at 2:00 4 Fridays of the summer. And one of those rewards is getting an extra Summer Friday for the summer. So that's another kind of just time off perk as well. I think a lot of people like to save up for those time off, or even just kind of keep their points to be on the top of the leaderboard. I think it creates a nice, healthy competition. A lot of people are just like, I want to stay on number one. I don't want to spend my rewards.
Yeah. Yeah. So have you noticed certain types of rewards are more popular than the others? And Nicolette, you can start, given that you've been talking about.
I would say the most popular rewards is like the extra time off. I think we have a pretty generous time off policy, but I would say what person doesn't like time? So I think a lot of people like that. But then also I think like when people are just like excited to use the reward, they want to get the swag. Like some of the swag, and I'm sure like other people notice, like swag's expensive sometimes, and like it's not necessarily something you want to spend your personal dollars on. So when it's something that you've like earned gradually and you're not spending your real money on, it's a nice thing to redeem. So sometimes there's certain things on that website that I would say people are waiting to accumulate their awards for, or the rewards for.
Right. Okay. And what about you, Oksana? What's your most popular gift that people like?
Well, I haven't spent time to see which gift cards are kind of most redeemed, but at the moment we only allow or sort of provide the opportunity to redeem for gift cards, and there's the variety of gift cards that are available is extensive. So I do think there's an opportunity. I like the idea. I've raised it briefly about within our organization about providing some branded merchandise. We need to figure out the logistics of how to support that and source and provide those, but people seem to really enjoy the gift cards.
So you don't have a custom aspect to
We
it?
do not
Like no
currently.
PTO or extra day off or something like that, that's separate from your, so you only use
We-
pure commercial gift cards at this point?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I like the idea of incorporating something on the sort of in a custom store that people could redeem their points for, but we haven't implemented anything like that yet.
Okay. Are you also doing any points for compliance related stuff? Because I know as a healthcare, you guys have to do HIPAA training and all of that stuff too, right?
We do not. No,
Okay.
we use it purely for recognition and also for service awards.
Oh, service
So
awards.
length of service. So we've incorporated those as well.
Okay. And Iris, what's the most popular item in your catalog?
Yeah, our gift cards for sure. But a lot of people also like to get the swag. Same thing Nicolette is saying, like they may want something, like they want a polo or something like that, but they're not going to spend their money on it. We'll give it at a reduced rate too. Like if you buy it at the store and $50 of cash, we'll let them have it for like $30 worth of points. So we kind of like give it at a reduced amount if they buy it via their points. So that is always a good incentive. I will say before we moved to Engagedly, we had a different platform that had more variety of stuff in the store. And truly, the most thing that was bought there was gift cards anyway, even though there's a bunch of other options of stuff. So for us, it just made sense. Like, this is what people are already doing. Let's just let them have the opportunity for gift cards anyway, because then they can just pick whatever they want. So.
And you don't do any PTO or extra day off or things like
We
that?
don't. I actually have a question how you guys configure that, because obviously everybody has different pay rates. So I don't know how you would do like an equate to a PTO day if everyone has different pay rates. So that's a question I have for you, Nicolette, how you guys do
Yeah.
that.
I think we think of it more holistically of like, okay, so I would say we don't have a set budget per se for this. And more so with those rewards, it takes them, I think, 500 points to get to that. So it's going to take a while. Like we've had this program open for just under a year at this point, and I've like done everything. I've participated, I get all my points, and I'm not even at the 500 point level yet. So it's a much farther out reward to get. So we don't think that that's something that's going to come up quite frequently. And I would say, yes, definitely people do earn more, and there's one person's extra day off is going to cost more than another. But I think we think of it more holistically, that it's just extra time that we're giving back to our team.
Okay. So here's a few questions here. I'm going to go with the first one from Susie here. What would be a good point system for global companies with different currencies? What about wellness initiatives with redeeming points? Two different questions here. Is any of you using global currencies, or is it all US at this point? No. Okay.
We have global. So we just, within the system we set up, there's a conversion rate that has been established to convert it to other currencies rather than US dollars.
Yeah. So Engagely has in Tango Card, you can create different conversion rates based on your own purchasing power parity metrics, so that 100 points could be $1 per 100 points could be maybe a 500 rupees or something like that, or 200 rupees or whatever number. I'm probably not giving you the right answer there, but you can have different conversion, and it can be like maybe $2 in Canadian dollars, right? Or something like that. So you could do that completely different. So each country and each currency, you can have your own conversion rate based on the purchasing power. So it doesn't have to be the same equivalent dollar amounts for those currencies. Now, the wellness initiatives with redeeming points, so that'll have to be set up as a custom store, because we don't have that in the Tango Card store yet. So if you have a custom store enabled, if you don't, just let our customer success team or solution consultants know on your account, where they can help you set up, or a support team can help you with that too, set up a custom store and you can add your own wellness initiatives there. Obviously, you'll have to figure out how to fulfill them. Maybe it's like a membership to a yoga studio or something like that, or a free subscription to Calm or one of those apps, things like that. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but that can be potential ways to fulfill wellness. But you'll have to figure out how to actually fulfill that for the end user.
One idea on that we've done before, we do a step challenge every year. We do like a step challenge. September is September. Everybody does a step challenge. And so we've incentivized, like if you get your 10,000 steps a day for a week or 70,000 steps for that week, send us a screenshot and you earn, 5,000 points or something. So that's like an easy way to incentivize something wellness related by using that custom reward.
Right. And then I can redeem those points for Domino's pizza or Papa John's, and then,
Yeah.
and then undo everything
Eat
I
those
did.
calories you burned.
Yeah. Okay. So another question from Jill from our Engagely site. Rewards definitely increases engagement. That's, I think, given. Has anybody seen any real impact on retention, or maybe even anecdotally?
I mean, I would say it's hard, especially for us. We just started this program a little less than a year ago, so it's kind of hard to measure the direct impact on retention. However, I'd say that we've already seen a notable increase in employee engagement, and participation in events, higher completion rates for those key initiatives we're speaking about. And I think in general, employees feel more recognized and rewarded for their contributions, and just naturally fosters a stronger connection to the company. Over time, I think will be able to measure a higher retention rate, which then is kind of reinforcing that positive culture that we are hoping to kind of put out in this attempt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the bigger impact, to be honest, from is really a lot around compliance. Nobody likes to take HIPAA training and security training and things like that. And we all have the same issues in our side too. We have all of our employees have to take all the IT security training, the Know Before training and things
Yeah.
like that. So
And then
that
something else that you could do through Engagedly, which I don't know if everybody knows here, but when you assign like a survey, like if you end up having like a course that's through Engagedly or a survey through Engagedly, you could actually assign reward points upon completion. So you don't even have to enter those rewards, which is great. So like our Know Before trainings, which are our security trainings, those happen outside of Engagedly, but some other trainings that we have that are mandatory trainings, we can assign those points and not actually have to put them out ourselves. They'll just be automatically given to each employee as they complete that training.
Okay, great. Another question from Jessica here. She talks about the days off. So obviously, in your case, Nicolette, it takes several months to achieve 1 day off, right? So I guess it depends on each organization how liberal you want to be. Is there any guidance anybody have on that? Iris, you guys don't do any days off either, right? At Light Edge? No? Okay.
No, we briefly talked about that, but yeah, the conversion rate, I don't know how we would equate, like the dollar amount is just different for everyone for a PTO day. So unless we kind of did the perspective Nicolette's talking about, where it's more like a holistic idea, we're just kind of like as a company willing to dish it out versus having like an equal dollar amount that's earned and applied. We just haven't gone that path yet.
The only other
Okay.
thing I could think of you could do if you're not wanting to think of it in our perspective is if you want to do a certain point amount per hour versus day, and do it that way and like get a certain amount of hours off. That would only be the other way I could think about it.
Okay. Okay. One thing we didn't quite touch upon a lot here is the what is the budget per employee? And I guess in Oksana, what I heard from you is like $50 a quarter per employee essentially is what you're giving.
No, that wasn't,
Yeah, that
I
was
think the
me.
$50 per quarter was Iris.
Iris, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So is that your budget, Iris, or is that just one of other parts of other budgets as well?
Yeah, in this particular, we have it set up to auto assign $50 per employee per quarter for this. We do other stuff within the company for rewards and recognition, outside of the system, but for engagement in particular, that's what we do.
Okay. All right. And what are your budgets, Oksana and Nicolette?
We provide each manager with 3,000 points per year to be able to allocate, and that for our conversion is $300
Per manager.
per manager.
Oh,
So
sorry.
that could be, but each manager has different number of people. So every employee could be different then.
Well, that's theirs to be able to allocate to however they
Yeah.
want to sort of dish out the recognition across their team or to others. And so some people have taken an approach where they kind of regularly give awards in small kind of point denominations and sort of recognize large groups of people. A team completes a task or achieves, completes a project or what have you. And then others that choose to award fewer but larger sort of big bang kind of awards to keep people either on their team or on other teams to recognize maybe the collaboration or support they got from the IT team on an integration project or the marketing team on a product launch or what have you, things of that nature. But
Nicolette, what's your budget in your organization?
And I think we're a little different because we're a much smaller organization. We only have 86 employees, so versus a bigger organization, you definitely need to be more tighter on like these budgets. But I would say for us, we don't have a per employee fixed budget. Instead, we're taking a more flexible approach and allocating rewards based on engagement and impact versus setting that strict limits. And the people that are controlling it are myself. So we're not giving anything out to managers to kind of disperse at this point, which I do like that idea. I think that's a great idea. But right now I'm the one kind of pushing out these rewards. So I have a little more control over what we're kind of dishing those points out for, what we're not dishing them out for. But even just like I said before, even with those the cyber trainings, like 5 points, like that's really, it equates to $2.50. It's really not that big of an award. But just doing those kind of micro points for different tasks, I think it's a meaningful it's meaningful and gets that participation without requiring a large financial commitment. And I think this flexibility allows us to continuously refine that program and kind of see what resonates with our employees and continue through that way.
So have you looked at on an average how much you're spending per employee per year on an average?
So as far as and like I said, most people are hoarding their points. So really, we've only had, as far as redemption goes, we've only had a few redemptions. Like people are really building their points up. So far, as far as like actual dollars spent, we really have not spent anything over, I think, 1,000 at this point. So people are saving up the rewards. They're coming to the events. They're doing the surveys and the learnings that we're asking them to do, and they're building those rewards. And like, even I keep hearing like people during these events, like I'm overhearing them as they're coming in, they're like, oh, we're getting points for this event, and I want to get to the top of the leaderboard. So it's in my mind, it's almost like they really just want to like get this healthy sense of competition, and
Yeah.
they want to kind of get to that top of the leaderboard versus like spending the rewards. So if that works for them, that's great. And it definitely saves us a little bit. But I think for us, we are smaller, and it's different because we are a smaller organization. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. The one thing that we use at Engagely is, we launched our new values, 5 values last summer. And what we do is every week when we meet as a leadership team, we try to nominate at least one, sometimes 2 or 3 people on one of those 5 values and do a shout out and give points for that. So that's one way to make sure that the values don't just sit on a poster board on a wall. You're actually doing a shout out and giving points for that value. And we created badges for each of those values with certain number of points for each of those values and things like that. So I try to drive that, and all of our leaders do a really good job of making sure that they identify people in the organization who want to get a shout out for one of those 5 values, so that way it's always front and center on that.
Yeah, we do
Really
something
done.
similar every Monday. We have a Monday morning meeting and we also prefer our core values and give shout outs, but we don't reward points for that. But I think that's a great idea. So I think that may be something that we'll
Yeah,
implement
and
as
then
well.
the thing about that, it memorializes it. It memorializes it too. So you can go back in history and look at all the badges they've got, and if they've gotten those value badges, it'll show up in their history of all the recognition they've got. Which is one of the things. And then when you're doing a annual review or whatever you do, you realize how much somebody's been recognized, because then it is in the system versus just
Yeah.
in town hall. Obviously, giving a shout out in front of everyone means a lot as well.
Yeah.
Oksana, you want
Absolutely.
to say something?
I was just going to say, we also have a badge, not for each of our individual values, but one for to recognize sort of the demonstration and sort of living the values. So, and that can be utilized as a manager is awarding points. Or as I mentioned, we have this Changemaker champion team that is focused on supporting and promoting our values across the organization. And each of them have been given points that they can award. And so if they're sharing points or awarding or recognizing someone for really living our values, you can utilize that badge so that it's and not just awarding them the points, but giving them the badge for that recognition.
Okay, great. Iris, do you want to talk? I don't know if this is something, might be putting on a spot here, but has anything that you have done or your team has done that you're like, oh, we shouldn't have done this, like something you not a great idea from a rewards recognition perspective? Because I've had stories of not having a proper budget, and then there was this runaway spend on one client, and then they were trying to claw back, and that was a big painful process. But that was several years ago. I don't know if you had anything like
Yikes.
that.
No, I think we've only been in the system for about a year, but we had several years in another point system before, and we learned our lesson on that just to watch out for, sometimes there's a lot of swapping of points. Like people would give somebody so many points, they would give somebody else so many points. So there was like some conniving going on behind the scenes with that we kind of had to learn how to navigate that. But thankfully we haven't had that issue anymore in a long time. The other thing that we did one time that was also like, we shouldn't do that again, is we did a reward for like everyone that participated in something like an event or a training or something like that. And some of our leadership was on there. And so every time somebody was like liking and commenting on there, like our CEO was just getting exploded with emails and notifications. We were like, oh, we probably should have taken him off of there. So, I mean, these are like minor things of just like more like annoyance, but yeah, not anything major that's come to mind in that regard.
I think it's a great question. I don't have an answer, but I like it. Thankfully, we haven't had that kind of experience in the time that I've been here to see kind of something kind of go sideways, or, maybe we should have done that differently. And we haven't had kind of a runaway budget situation. I mean, I had asked our leadership sort of how did we arrive at this 3,000 points per manager sort of budget? And I think they just, they picked that as sort of a starting point. They wanted something that was big enough that it was meaningful, but not so big that it was going to be detrimentally costly. And we've never, like, there's always points that kind of expire at the end of the year that go unused. So I think it's a great question though.
I would say, I mean, like the only thing that I would say sticks out to me is just giving out points without like a clear purpose. Like it's just to give out points versus like just like a randomness. Like there's no reason to give those points. I just think it's important to like identify the behaviors and outcomes you want to influence, right? So like you're not just giving these points, like you are forming this habit and recognition that will influence the reaction, right, and engagement. So when you're focusing on those targeted areas, that's when the program really becomes meaningful and drives that impact and gives you the change that you're looking for. So just identifying the rewards that really genuinely make those impacts, and ones that are like, okay, I'm just getting points for like, what did I even do, right? Kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It has to be meaningful, otherwise it loses its meaning.
Absolutely.
Actually. Yeah. Great. Well, we'll wrap up here in very quickly. So one announcement I wanted to make is we are running an R&R client challenge, and more information will come out on that. So we're going to be actually recognizing a client, one of our clients who has used effectively the R&R rewards recognition program in their organization. So look for an email on how we will be measuring that impact. I'm sure, one of you three might end up winning it, but hopefully there's other people who can give you a run for your money too. The other big announcement I wanted to make is we are making a big revamp on our rewards recognition program that's coming out in April. So a couple of months from now, maybe a month and a half from now, where you will have better control on budgets, and you will be able to actually give budgets to different people that they can not use, but they can give. So one of the things that we wanted to do was drive more peer-to-peer, but where I can have a budget of 100 points or whatever number you want to give me. And you can have formulas too. So you're talking about managers, for example, Oksana. So instead of saying $3,000, 3,000 points per manager, you can say, I want to give 1,000 points for each direct report the manager has. So if they have 10 direct reports, they get 10,000. If they have 3 direct reports, they get 3,000, so on. So it makes it more dynamic, so that somebody who has like 1 direct report is getting all these points to give out, versus somebody who has 20 direct reports who has to now be stingy about the points. So there are a lot of these new things coming out that'll I think be a lot of value. So that's a big announcement there. Any closing thoughts on companies who are looking, or other organizations are looking at rewards recognition? How they should start, or what are some of the key considerations they should have when they're implementing this?
I guess for us, I think one point that we really made like a significant effort to do is in their new hire onboarding, we log into the system, we show it to them, we show that we give them an example of how to send rewards and recognition to each other. We send it to them so they get a notification, they can click into the system. Like, we really try to push the engagement from day one. And I think that helps them, see what it is, how to do it, how it works, and kind of give them some guidance around that. And I think also putting the onus on the employees too, to celebrate each other, give kudos. So it's not only coming from the managers. We certainly encourage our managers to do that as well. But I think it's awesome for employees to be able to recognize their peers. One other thing that's been successful for us is like tapping into almost like subcultures of teams. So like for example, some of our operations teams, they have like different like inside jokes or things that they have. So like, somebody may, the gorilla is like this symbol for like strong team, whatever, something dynamic. I don't know. It's like developed over time. They like send funny gorilla stuff to each other. So we have like a gorilla badge that I see that one get passed around so often within that particular team. So I think if you can do something that feels like intentional to like their subcultures within your org, I think it gets a lot of engagement that way, because then it feels like inside jokey and it's community building. So I think that that's been something that's been successful for us. I would encourage you guys on too.
Great. I love that. But back in the day when I first started my career, I worked for FedEx, and they had this thing called Bravo Zulu. And it was $100 cash. You just get $100 cash and a certificate. So that was interesting, because I got like 8 of them in my first year. Yeah, I was like so gung ho about getting it. But it was all non-digital. It was all analog at that point. So now that we can do all these things digitally, it's something that everybody else gets to see as well. Anything else you want to add, Nicolette or Roxana, before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would just say, the only other piece I would like to share is our quarterly firm-wide goal reward that we also give. And I think this is a good idea to reward teams for hitting a firm-wide goal. So each quarter annually we set our goals, but each quarter we have a different goal to hit by the end of that quarter. And if we hit that goal, the whole team gets a certain amount of points. And then if we hit that goal again, the next quarter, you get those points plus another amount of points. So like each time you consecutively hit those quarter goals, you get more points. And I think this creates a really good sense of momentum and motivates people to continue pushing for that success. And it drives performance while also recognizing the hard work that goes into this. But just in general, overall, I mean, I feel like this program has been very successful for us in driving that engagement, reinforcing the positive behaviors and helping us align with our company goals. And I'd say I'm pretty proud of what we've accomplished so far, and we're looking always to evolve. And I'm happy to hear some of the different things that both Oksana and Iris have done, and how we can implement those into our strategy. But yeah, just I think it's a great program.
Yeah, I'll echo that. It was interesting. I liked hearing some of the other ideas around how the system is being utilized to incentivize sort of different behavior and different goals and achievements in the organization. Because ours is at the moment is primarily focused just around recognition. I know, having like looked around in the configuration of the system, we do also have points in place to encourage sharing of feedback and sharing knowledge and, you know, sharing ideas and things of that sort. And I think that is something that is maybe underutilized in our organization currently. And I think there's opportunity there, but even incorporating support in around wellness, I think is a great idea. So I think there's opportunities to really consider different ways that you can leverage, because the system's so easy to use. And if there is, if you can create a case for where the points have some value for people, you can really, I think, have a tremendous impact on what it is that you're trying to incentivize outside, whether it's directly tied to business goals or whether it's purely recognition focused, it can have an impact. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate all of you joining the session here. Nicolette, Oksana, Iris, thank you so much for volunteering to be on the panel and sharing your wisdom on how you're using it, things that are working well for you and things that are really popular. I'm a huge believer of R&R. The ROI of investment in rewards recognition is unparalleled. I don't think of any other program that HR can do that's has a better ROI than this. Just looking at the numbers that you guys are spending per employee, it's like basically lunch money for a lot of people. So that's, you know, and the impact you can have from just that little thing is impressive. So thank you. All right, with that, we'll conclude, and we'll have the next Success Labs in a month or so. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trey.
Thanks, everyone.
So.